happens to you, it might happen to somebody else. All right, good morning, everybody. God bless you all. Welcome to our Sunday school. Today's Sunday school lesson is going to be about connection. We're going to be here talking about connection because it's very important when you connect with the right people. Things work out in your favor. And many times we in church don't know how to connect to the right people because we don't look at people in ministry. We look at people as human beings. Yeah. But when you're in ministry, you need to look at people as ministry people. In other words, are they living the life that could please God? I cannot be connected to people that are not connected to God because that would destroy me. That will mess up my connection with God. In other words, who you hang around with is who you're going to be subject to. That's what the Bible says. So you got to be careful the company you keep. And many times we keep the wrong company not knowing that we have a choice of who we fellowship with and who we don't fellowship with. Because not everybody that we fellowship with is fellowshipping in the things of God. A lot of people are self-centered in the things of self, and they will make you more messed up than happy. Because we have not used, and I like to say this word, discernment. We could discern friends, you know. We could ask God to discern who our friends ought to be. We could discern and ask God who our friends should be, because we don't want to lean on our own understanding. That's what the Bible says. He said, do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. That means he will direct your friendship. Not every friendship that you get into is of God. Some friendships you should not connect to because it causes discord. You see that? It causes a conflict with God. You might think it's all right with you, but it might not be pleasing in the sight of God. So you should ask God, is this friend or is this connection beneficial to my ministry? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about your ministry. It's not about nothing else but your ministry and God. And this is where people get in mistake. They think it's all about their life and what they want to do, but it's not. It's about God and what you're going to do for him, and is he pleased in what you're doing for him? So today's Sunday school is about connection. We need to make righteous connection. Not every connection is going to be perfect, but we need to set aside ourselves and say, what do we want from this? Right? Think about it. What do we want from this? Because a lot of times we come to places and we don't know what we want. All we know is somebody said, let's be friends, and we become friends. And then you don't know what they're doing behind your back. But because you're connected to them, their sin is like you agree with their sin because you're connected with them in their sin. Come on. Birds of a feather flock together. Even though you're not doing the sin, just because you are connected, people will jump to conclusions and say, you must be with them. You must be bad like them. You must be nasty like them. So we need to examine not just ourselves, but we need to examine our friends. Oh my God. Come on. Yeah. You do. We need to examine who's in our circle. Why is this person my friend? And they never said hello. We never spoke. They never visited. They never checked out my church. So why are we friends? What do you have to offer God? Who do you know? Are you saved? Are you living a life? We need to examine the people. Because if you don't examine the people, you will never know who's doing what. Or who's in your circle for what. And many times people keep playing with God because they don't know no better. Or they do know better, but they still want to play with God because they think that's the way to go. But we're learning today that in order to please God, you got to please him with your connections. Because we're going to talk about that later on, every fruit. But it's because of your connection that your fruit dries up. Come on. It's because of your connection that your life is stopped where it's at. Because you need to be connected to somebody that's going to push you to where you need to be in life. Because if they can't push you, then why are you connected with them? Because they're not moving. Why be on a train that's not going nowhere when you got to get to a certain destination? You might as well just get off that train. You don't need to be connected with someone that's not moving. Because all they're going to do is keep you from moving. Because they're not moving, you're not moving, and nobody's going to be moving because you got to be careful. We don't look at connections that way. All we know is that somebody want to be my friend, somebody want to be my thing, somebody want to be this, but we never examine why. Yes. We need to examine what are the hidden motives that cause people to want to connect. That's why glory of God don't have many connections. Because you can't have everything connected to the glory of God because it will destroy his glory. His light will not shine as bright when there's demons around it. Because they will try to stop the light from shining. So you are responsible for your light. Come on now. You are responsible. You can't say it was my neighbor that caused my light not to shine. He's not having that. You can't say it was that person you brought, because he's going to say, I didn't connect you with that person. You connected yourself. Because you never acknowledged me and asked me and discerned the spirit of that person. So now you can't say it's that person or it's me that brought that person to you. So your connection is on you, not on God. You need to do due diligence in who you want to connect to. And that's what he's talking about this morning. Many people are connecting to the bad stuff. And I know I always say opposites attract, but sometimes you need to understand why they are attracted. Just because opposites attract don't mean we're going to attract. Because how can two walk together unless they agree? So if we are going to connect and attract, then it must be holiness only in there. Because if it's not holiness, then why are we connected? What can we connect to if it's not holiness? If you're holy and your ministry is holy and your life is holy, then why are you connecting with the unholy? Unless you're bringing the unholy to righteousness or holiness. But if you're not doing that, then you don't need to be connected, because their sin is your sin. Because do you know what we say in the co-defendants? And a lot of people get in trouble because of that. You know, they're not using, but they're in a house that are with people that are using, and when the cops come and they arrest the people, you're there. So you're arrested and you are co-defendant, even though you're not, just because you're there. So that's the same thing with ministry. Even though you're not doing it, but because you're hanging around a person that's doing it, you just as guilty, because God,
come on now, that's right,
holds you accountable, because you know better. They might not. But by you knowing better and associating or being connected with that sinner or that person for a long period of time and no change, then you're just as guilty. You must agree with something they're doing. So we need to be true to our, I'm not preaching today, I'm just giving Sunday school, but we need to be true to ourselves. Why are we connected to that connection? Do we really abhor their sin, or do we like or familiarize with what they're doing? We need to really realize that. Not all people are for us. That's why you should be careful. You should always think everybody's against you until they prove themselves for you. We make too many friends too quick. No. Let's examine it. Well, we're going to find out what you're really about. Because, and this is it. Your ministry is too precious for someone else to destroy. Your relationship with God is too precious for someone else to mess up. So it's nothing in the world that is good enough or that you should allow good enough to mess up your life or your ministry with God. You know? So that's why we got to say, I'd rather have one true connection than 10 bad connections, because the bad connection stops you from getting to God. Because if you connect your amp to the mic and it's a bad connection, you're not going to have no sound. So if you connect that person to you and you going to God, you're not going to connect, because that's a bad connection. And no bad connection will connect you to God.
Come on now.
So if you don't know, if things are not going the way you want it, and if everything you're doing is failing, then you need to look at your connection. It might not be you, because you might be doing everything you're supposed to do, but it's that person you're connected to that God displeased. And if God is displeased with the person you're connected to, you just as bad. Because you're the co-defendant of that person. And the reason why he's upset with you, because you didn't talk to him. You didn't ask him about the connection you made. So because you left him out of it, oh my God, it seemed like you wanted to go around God and make a connection without his permission. And that's why you can't get to connect with him, because he's not part of it.
Come on.
Think about that as pastors and ministers and elders. Your connection has to be part of God's plan. It can't be just because we, listen to this. This is Sunday school. Listen to this. We are no longer in the flesh, so we cannot do the things that we want to do. We got to do the things that please God. So we got to ask God, what is it that you want from me with this person? Even in relationships. Even in relationships. We can't run up into everything like we used to when we were sinners.
Come on.
Now that we're saved, we should be extra careful of the contamination from people. Because now that we have God, the devil is going to send people
Come on.
to really mess you up. And they don't mess you up the first year.
No.
It's that 5th year when you all stuck. The real deal come out. And then you're like, Lord, he said, yeah, because you didn't ask. You didn't connect. You didn't even fast and pray. If you did, it was only for 2 seconds, and you never heard from me say, okay. You just jumped in the flesh like you always did, because you didn't renew your mind.
Come on.
Go on, Holy Spirit.
In your thinking. You didn't renew your mind in your acceptance. So when you were a sinner, you accepted low esteem. When you got saved, you never renewed your mind, so you still accept low esteem. Not knowing that you are a prince or princess and deserve royalty.
Speak it. Jesus.
Because you never renewed your mind, so you accepted the crafts like you did when you was in sin. Not knowing that you were made new to accept better. So we connect to less of because we're used to connecting to anything.
That's right.
Loneliness is not good for us, right? So we want to connect to whatever fast so we don't have to be lonely. And that messes you up in ministry. We got to wait on the Lord. It's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody's going to be perfect and do what. But when you realize your anointing, it's too precious. And this is the Bible. Everything I'm saying is written in Scripture. It is too precious to give to the swine. your pearls.
Come on. That's right.
Because they don't know what to do with it. They'll just dog it and put it in mud and trample over it. All your love and devotion and understanding of God and ministry and humility, they will just destroy it because they're not understanding your pearly worth. So that's why it's important that we watch our connections. We need to go home and examine who's in our life. Call up a friend. Why? We've been friends, we've been hanging out, but you never stopped by my church. Why? You never talked to my pastor. Why? You never, did anything biblical. Why? What is your hidden agenda? What do you want? I'm serious. That's what we need to do now on. I have very little friends.
That's right.
Very little friends. I don't mind.
Not at all. Not.
I have my covenant partners. We have our covenant partners with the church, and we have our fellowship with the church, and it's going live. But they know is even that is hands length. Even my fellowships and my connections are hands length. Even though they're good and they ordained, I still keep them at a distance.
Okay.
Because I represent the glory of God. And when I represent the glory of God, you can be connected, but I'm still going to stay back. Unless God say go forward. Y'all don't get that. I don't move nowhere unless God say move.
Come on, there you go.
And if you're truly connected or if you're truly fellowship, then you will stay with me even though I don't run. Every time you say run.
Come on.
Because I'm out of the flesh. I'm into the spirit. So if the spirit don't say run, you can say run till you're blue in the face. I will not move. You can give me all kind of diamonds and pearls and money and everything. I will not accept or move. Because the glory costs too much to lose. That costs too much to lose. And I'm going to say this, and they're going to see it on YouTube and video. Even though we're fellowshipping and connecting, that doesn't mean you didn't lose your connection with God. So I got to be careful. Because just because we're still fellowshipping doesn't mean you're still doing the things God told you to do. So I'm careful. Because I have to give an account for my sheep. Those that God put me over, or I got to worry about you guys. And if I take you to some place and something happens to your spirit, I'm held accountable. Because I know better. That's why we don't. And y'all might think, yeah, he never want to go here. He never want to go there. You got to realize, I can't. We've been 7 years. This is 7 years of ministry. And I never moved without God saying go. And y'all know that. So it's not because I don't want to. I would love to go. They got a good praise break going on over there. They really dance and shout and they have a good time. It's fun. But God didn't tell me to go. I can't go. Nothing to do with you guys. It has everything to do with my relationship with my Father. Now when he say go and have a good time, I will. But until then, I cannot move. We cannot move. And you cannot go on your own. Because if you go on your own, you're telling the enemy he got more power than your ministry. Because they're pulling you to their connection without your ministry. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Because now, not only could they hurt you, they could bring an ought against the glory of God. Let me explain. Because by you being there and not just mean, but the church not with you, you're naked. And that's bad for the church because nobody under me should be naked.
That's right.
So by you being on your own and naked is a charge against us because now you're destroyed, but you're part of us. Now if you was your own whatever by yourself, fine. But when you're connected to something, we have a relationship. And you know, if you go on your own, then that's just messing up the relationship. And then it's hard for ministry to work because I have to go through it. For real, I'm like, I don't have no sleep. What's going on, Lord? What's going on, Lord? What's going on, Lord? Then they call me. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, that's why he was messing with me and I couldn't sleep and telling me this and that. Because somebody was... Remember the story about Achan? We talked about Achan? The battle of Achan when they were out with Joshua was out there fighting and he kept losing the battle. And he's like, Lord, what happened? You told me what's going on. And he said, they're sitting in the camp.
Yeah.
And he had to go find out what was causing his downfall because he knew he was the glory of God and had the right to do this. And then he went in the camp and he saw that one of the men of the army was stealing and had stuff that God said destroy, or other words don't keep, or other words disobedient to the leader. And the whole congregation had to suffer because that one person was disobedient.
Yeah.
And they kept losing and losing and losing and losing. Until, you know, God revealed. And then he was like, okay. And what do you think happened? They threw him out, killed the whole family, everybody he was connected to. Mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, chick, child, money, everything threw it out and burned it.
Yes.
Everything. His whole lineage.
That's right.
Great gone. Kill them all. Because of the disobedience caused the problem to his ministry.
That's right.
When he said don't do it, don't do it. What you think happened to Saul?
What?
I mean, this is all biblical. I'm not saying don't go because listen, what you have an instruction. Saul had an instruction. But why should I do that? This is all good stuff. It was tainted. Don't go there. Don't touch it. It's no good. Well, it looks good to me. God rejected him because he didn't listen. He made his own connection instead of listening to God connection and destroying everything that he said destroy. Kill him, destroy everybody, kill him. But he said, no, I'm going to use him. He's good, he's smart. Let me go over there and get some of this stuff. Now he's rejected. Samuel had to come and kill a guy. Prophet shouldn't have blood on his hands, but he had to kill a guy because Saul wouldn't kill him.
That's right.
And then he had to do all that stuff and burn him. And then he said, because of your disobedience. Let me leave that right there. See, he was disobedient to God because that was the right conversation. When you disobedient to your leader, you disobedient to God because we have a connection. And you connected to me and me connected. You disobedient to both.
Amen.
So Saul was rejected because of the disobedience. Just like now in the 2018, don't go there. You go there. You're disobedient. You could get disconnected. And nothing will work for you. Everything will start falling apart until you come clean. Oh my God, I like that word. Come clean and tell the truth. Yes, Lord, I know I was told not to go, but I went because my flesh told me to go. I thought they had some money and some good food, and they showed the cake, and the cake was beautiful, so I went because I wanted a piece of cake. Lord, forgive me. And then go tell your pastor, you forgave me and you did this, because God's going to keep punishing you till you confess your faults. You got to confess. You can't just walk it under the rug. He don't know.
Come on.
They don't know. I got away with it. No, you didn't. You didn't get away with nothing. Your sin will be revealed eventually.
Thank you, Jesus.
Your disobedience will cause a disconnect. And you're going to have to come back and connect with the person. That's what Sunday school should be about. Sunday school should be about some essence, knowledgeable, understanding stuff. I'm not running around jumping and shouting on Sunday school. This is Sunday school. This is school. What teacher in school run around, jump around in school? This is not arts and crafts. This is real teaching. So we got to remember our connection. Stay connected to the leader. Stay connected to God. And do what he said do. But when you choose your friendship, or when you choose your connection, pray, fast, and seek God's face. Because in these last and evil days, you cannot tell. It's worse now. You cannot tell. I mean, I've seen some people, and I could have sworn, not that it's my business, but come to find out they not who they look like they are. A lot of different things put in place. Sold in and shot up. And I'm like, yeah, they got some shots for everything. They make you look woo. But you got to be careful because you're held accountable for not discerning that spirit. And then 20 years later, when it's time to get married, y'all like, uh-oh, what? All these years I didn't know? You should have asked God. You would have known they were really who they are.
That's right.
Everything that glitter ain't gold. I'm serious. That stuff ain't real. You got to make sure it's real stuff. It might look good, but is it really good? Is it really connected? Is it really part of ministry? Can it really help my life? Or is it just going to destroy me and my ministry and get me disconnected with God? Because that's all the devil wants to do. He don't want to kill you. He don't want to hurt you. Even though it says he do, his main job is to keep you alive and working for him. What good are you to him dead? He want to kill your ministry. He want to kill your relationship with God so you can work for him and do his bidding. That's what he want to do. He don't want to put you in the grave. He wants you to be lose your mind and serve him for the rest of your life. That's what he wants, you to be disconnected from God. So he's going to keep trying with all his power to pull you away from the right connection. And he will succeed if you let him. Because you didn't fast and pray about who you should be dealing with. And this is the last thing I'm going to say before we get into our service. Even when you're going for a job, they do a background check. They do an extensive background check. Why can't we? I'm just saying. I'm going to do a background check on everybody that want to be my friend in 2018 because the price of the glory is too high to just be anybody's friend. Right. So let's see what's going on. Let's see how many churches you ran from. Let's see what happened at that last church. Let's see how many people you done swindled. Let me see what happened. That's right. That makes you want to come and connect here. What happened? Not that it's me being nosy. It's just that me being careful over the church. And I learned all the information by praying and fasting, because God will reveal it if you allow him to. I don't have to ask you. I go to God. You sit there and you don't know I'm going to God, and he's telling me stuff, and a month later I'm talking to you about what happened.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
And let you know you got to make that right. And I'll bring you there and work with you to make it right. We can get it right. Because we cannot harbor fugitives running from one ministry to another ministry because they running from God. He might have a work there that you're running from. You can't hide out here. You can't run from God there and hide here. What happened to them on that boat? When Jonah went to Nineveh, what happened on that boat? Everybody almost died. He said, throw me over. Get out.
Right.
Get it right. Then come back on the boat because we're not going to sink. We don't know why you ran from there.
That's right.
Let's reason this out. It ain't that bad. But if your ministry is there and you're running from your calling, you got to do your calling. You got to make peace with that. I had to stay under my apostle like 15 years before I opened the church. It wasn't my time, but I knew my calling. I knew it. It was in me, but it just wasn't my time. Somebody say, how could you stay so long? You know, it wasn't easy. I swore she was keeping me back, trying to keep me there, trying to stop my anointing, trying to take all my tithes. That's what it was. She wanted my tithes. That was my favorite word. You just want my tithes. That's all it is. You don't want me. Just because I'm working and I can pay tithes, that's why I'm here. Well, like, you just don't understand. You just don't. And I would say that to Apostle because she would be like, you just don't understand. And I'd be like, oh yeah, you just don't want me to go nowhere. And I try to leave and I either wind up back there, try to leave and God send me right back there. And I didn't understand why. But now I understand. I understand she's prepared me for my greater. Prepared me for my greater, for my later. Prepared me for now. Most people run in 2 weeks. This is where they got it. 2 weeks, got a job, got some money, open up a church. No, 15 years before I opened up a church. I wasn't rushing. I wanted to rush, but I couldn't rush.
Yeah, that's right.
She kept pulling me back in. And we don't want teachers no more. We don't want to wait on the Lord. We don't want to seek His face and find out who to connect to anymore. We just want to do whatever suits us. That's not the way to go. So this is the end of the Sunday school. Let's get connected to God. And when we connect to God, let's use God to connect us to people. Let God do the connecting. Stop running on your own connecting. Don't run to this church and that church and this church to connect. God guide me to what connection I should be in. And then bring it to us and we all work together on that connection. But don't connect on your own because you're not on your own. It might be 3 people in the church, but the 3 people are still connected to me and this church. So you gotta come here and let me know in the church what your desire is. Don't just connect because you think you're grown. No, because it'll destroy the work that we built. Even though this is 7 years in its completion, we got, 3 more months before 7 years start, so all hell gonna break out now. The enemy does not want us to get to 7. We barely got through 6. Because 6 was the year of sin. Romans 12. 6, Adam sinned. Sin. But 7 is completion. We're making it. But let's stay connected to each other and to God. And don't lean on our own understanding because then we won't make it. I'm going to make it. But we want to make it together. It don't make no sense me crossing the Jordan and nobody else with me. I wouldn't cross the Jordan by myself. I want y'all on it with me. Imagine Moses crossing the Red Sea and nobody else with him but him. That wouldn't look right. I want us all to get together and connect. Let's come together and cross this Red Sea. Don't let me leave you behind because I ain't looking back. I am not looking back. I'm not. I'm going forward. I don't care who wrote it. Who don't care. I'm not looking back. So let's stay connected and let us all not look back. Because I don't want you to turn into a pillar. So let's keep going. Keep my eyes going. Don't worry about who fell. Let's just keep going and stay connected. All right. That's our Sunday school. Sunday school. Y'all just love my Sunday school.